Welcome to 2019, and we have an exciting year ahead. So basically, I'm just going to get a couple of things out of the way first of all before we jump into this. As for last year, as I'm sure many of you noticed, we didn't get out nearly as much content as we would have liked. This is basically because I took a full-time job that requires me to work a stupid number of hours, which is actually probably not that stupid of a number, now that I think about it. Although they keep asking me to do overtime, which is fun. Which is basically why I haven't had time to edit anything at all. So this year, I am endeavoring to get out more content. So I guess the question is, how am I going to go about doing this? And the simple answer for that is, we're going to live stream all of the things. Which I think is a great solution to this problem, because it means that I can get out more content for you without having to edit everything, which is very, very time consuming. So we're going to be doing live painting, we're going to be doing live strategy, and we're going to be doing live battle reports, which I just need a couple more pieces of hardware to arrive before we will be good to do that. And in the process of setting up my live battle report setup, I have found a way to make it so that we no longer miss any dice rolls, which I'm sure everyone will thoroughly enjoy. So, without further ado, I'm just going to point the camera down here so that we have something a bit more interesting than my ugly mug to look at. And I've got an Iron Warrior to paint while I talk about what the plans for this year are. Okay, so, as many of you don't know, because I've been keeping it more or less under wraps, I've started collecting Iron Warriors, so we've got a new army coming in this year, which is going to be exciting. Just because I don't want to have to explain how I'm going to be painting this guy as we go through. Basically, he's base coated in lead belcher. I've already put a dry brush of Necron compound over him. And then for the yellow and black stripes, we've got some Avalis Sunset, bit of Flash Gets Yellow, then some Chaos Black, because my paint is old, basically. For the eyes, we've got Corn Red, Wild Rider Red, and some White Scar. And we've also got some Nuln Oil Gloss to try to make them nice and shiny, as well as some Agrax Earthshade just to make them look a bit dirty, which is going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to start painting him, and I'm going to basically talk for a little bit while I do that. So basically, as I said, during 2018, I didn't get out anywhere near as much content as I would have liked, and this was purely due to not having time to edit anything. I mean, me and Chris shot the battle report that we released in December. We shot that would have been back in September or August. I don't fully remember. It was that long ago. So, as you can tell, I don't have time to edit things at the moment, so I've decided we're going to be doing things live from going forward until I get time to edit stuff again, which is going to be rather interesting, especially given that it means that we won't be able to hide any of our bluffs, and you'll be able to tell us when we get rules wrong in real time, which is of course very exciting. So, with the live stream setup that I've spent the last month or so working on, we will have two cameras that will be used for the live stream. The first one will just be the main camera for seeing what's going on, and then we'll have a dedicated camera for looking at dice rolls, because I know that some people have been frustrated with them not being quite as easy to see as really they need to be. And that's basically course, when I'm shooting battle reports, I'm thinking about 10,000 things at once, and it makes it difficult to always capture all of the dice rolls. This will fix that problem well and truly. Now that I think about it, yeah, I did water that down, didn't I? Almost forgot if I'd watered down that yellow paint. Came out quite nicely. And I think we'll do the opposite shin pad with the black and yellow stripes. I think that'll be pretty cool. So, we'll be doing live stream everything, and the strategy live streams that we do will be entirely driven by you guys. I will answer questions that you may have in real time about the ideas that I'm saying, and I'm more than willing to change my strategies as I go through. Now, going back to the battle reports for just one moment, another problem that we do have with getting out battle reports regularly is finding challenges and trying to line things up. So I'm going to still try and get people to play against once a month, but if I don't manage to find someone to play against once a month, we're still going to put out a battle report. And basically, as I said at the beginning of 2018, a really good way to improve your strategy on the tabletop is to well, play games against yourself. So we will do some of those for in the months where I don't find someone to play against. As my recent humiliating defeat by Chris has pointed out that, well, I finally lost a game on the channel, so that's good, because you learn more from losing than you do from winning, which was kind of why I was so excited about that game. And I intend on having a rematch with Chris at some time in the future, and yes, Chris, this is a challenge, and he's not going to win this time. That's the plan. We'll see how that goes. So, Chris, you'd better bring your game face next time, because yeah, it will be very interesting to see how that goes. Yeah, come on, get in there. I love it when the angles are kind of tricky. That's where he's at the moment now. Also need to put stripes on his axe. I think that'll look good. That's starting to dry out because I have a 1 kilowatt light pointing at my desk at the moment, so it's quite warm in here, especially given it's the middle of summer in Australia. So it's stupid hot already, and it's only 9:15 in the morning. So yeah, that's basically the plan for getting content out this year. The other big thing that's happening this year that is super exciting, as those of you who've been following us on Facebook know, we've been working on a project that we've been calling Terrain Vault, and basically it's a database of 3D models that we have developed that are designed specifically for wargaming and 3D printing. So, as those of you with 3D printers know, there are certain limitations when it comes to the 3D printing technology, and if you don't keep those in mind when you're designing your model, it can cause issues with printing. It's usually quite possible to print those models, but it is trickier and you don't get as good results, and you have to use workarounds that cause issues, basically, which is not ideal, and definitely not what anyone wants when they're trying to print out terrain. So these models that we've come up with, I'm just going to wash my brush off because it's starting to dry out in the bristles. Yeah, as those of you who have 3D printers know, yeah, and sorry, I forgot where I was up to for a moment. So you need to keep these things in mind when you're designing your model if you can, to make it so that it's printable, to make it look as good as possible. I think I put that on possibly a little bit thick there. That's unfortunate. Just water that down a bit to get it to go a bit smoother. I can always add another coat later. Yeah, that's better. And the first bit that we started with is dry, and we can put another layer on that just to get a more solid base color. So these models, like I said, they're designed for 3D printing, and at the moment, I think in the database I've got about, I think I've got about 10 different things on there at the moment, but there's over, I think I've got over 40 unique sculpts on there, because one or two of the, well, actually there's more than that now that I start thinking about it and remembering how many different things I've made. We've got more than just terrain in there. So there's prints for using for bases, which I'll actually get one that I'll finish doing that, and then I'll show you the base, which those of you on Facebook may recall a couple of months back having seen them. But we've got a thing that for lack of a better name, it's a base topper. So you put it on the base itself, and it looks awesome. Yeah, and does effects that would be very time consuming to do otherwise. Just wash that brush. So this is Inquisitor Cotiaz, which I'll bring it a little bit closer to the camera there so you can see. I actually think I need to do some more work on that eagle. I'm not quite happy with the way it's come out. But he's on one of our lava base toppers, which is a pretty cool base. I'm working on a set of bases that I think will go very well with my Iron Warriors, as well as a set of bases for Necrons, you know, general crystal type stuff, as well as lots of other ideas that I'm still coming up with, because I'm never going to stop coming up with different ideas. Just wet that paint down a bit more. So this database of 3D models will constantly be growing all the time, and there'll be a couple of ways that you can go about getting models from there. The first way is, well, there's really only one way. You go on there and you buy them. I'm not going to lie. This is partly to do with the fact that I'm not getting any money out of YouTube, so I'm finding another way to monetize my channel so that those of you who like what I make can support us. But I don't want to go down the Patreon path because I feel like that's kind of like begging, and I'm not a fan of it personally. Yeah, I just don't like it really. So I've made this product so that people who like my stuff can support the channel in a way that I feel comfortable with, basically. And yeah, basically the way it works is in an effort to keep prices down and standardize currencies across the entire planet, I've put a credit system into the website that we've built, which will basically allow you to purchase credits, and then we'll have standardized pricing so that we don't have any price gouging across different countries. Because as those of us in Australia and New Zealand know, price gouging is not particularly fun. Looking at you, get GW. No, I'm kidding, I love you. We all love Games Workshop. We love their stuff, it's great stuff. And it'd be nice if they would, you know, set more standard prices across the globe, but I understand there's lots of different factors involved. I'm not trying to apologize for them or anything at the moment. I'm trying very hard to be fair. It's very difficult, very fine line to walk. Fairly happy with that. Okie dokie, close that up. So, apart from that, so you get your credits, and then you can go and buy different pieces of different files that you can download as many times as you like, and print out as many times as you like. which is pretty awesome because it means, for example, what have I got sitting on my desk at the moment? Just a second, I'll be back with something that's pretty cool. So those of you who follow our Facebook page will recognize this. This is one of our Necron obelisks, Space Egyptian obelisks. Don't want to get sued, so we changed the names on some things. This is one of a set of 4, and off memory, the file for the entire set of 4 is $5. And you can print it as many times as you like. And that's $5 Australian dollars, so that's like, what, $3 US? So I'm trying to make it so that it is as affordable so that we can have as many tables across the planet filled with beautiful looking scenery for people to play their games with. That is basically what my objective is. The 4 sculpts of this have a unique glyph stamped into the side of them, which is pretty cool. There's also other stuff like this tiny version of it, which has a 1 stamped into it. You can't really see because there's so much light. Yeah, you can see the 1 a bit there. So there's some objective markers. There's lots of different sculpts, which is going to be pretty cool when we release that. I'm hoping to have the final details of it finalized in the next month to get it out there for you as soon as possible. Prices at the moment range as cheap as 50 Australian cents for a sculpt to about, I think the most expensive one was $7. So it's cheap stuff, but it's quality. I'm not going to release anything that is garbage, basically. If it doesn't print properly, I'm not releasing it. And there are 2 ways you can get credits. You can buy the credits directly, or you can put in a subscription and pay $5 or $10 a month and get twice as many credits as you would if you just bought those credits directly, which is pretty cool. So if you're loyal, you will be rewarded, which I think is a great idea. I think if you're loyal to someone, you should be rewarded, which I'm sure most people could agree is fair. So that's Terrain Vault at the moment. So that I'm hoping to get out in the next month or so. With our videos this year, it's unlikely I'll do many edited videos, if any at all, just because of time constraints that I'm having. Although if Terrain Vault gets off the ground and we have lots of interest in it, I may be able to find more time to do more videos. So there's the little bit of bribery and corruption on that. Now let's put some flash kits on here just to lighten it up. Oh, in addition to all these colors, I'm just going to put some brass over some of the detailed areas here and there. Oh, we're gonna have to do so many layers with this yellow. I almost feel sorry for all those people who have been suckered into painting Imperial Fists now. It's just this little bit of yellow is being a bit of a pain. You've got to put it on so thin or it just starts doing weird stuff. That's looking pretty good though. Almost thinking I should have just base coated the entire model in yellow and then just done the metal bits by brush. Might have been easier, but this works. So yeah, that's the plans for this year. It's going to be an exciting year. Lots of stuff happening. I'm also hoping to do some traveling and head back up to Port Macquarie to play Jacob again. I think his Nurgle need to be put in their place again. So that's going to be exciting when I get a chance to do that, if I get a chance to do that. Got to find a better spot to record though this time, because while you didn't see it in that video from 12 months ago now, when I played as Death Guard, we got interrupted many times during that game. That all got edited out, but I'll have to find a way to not get interrupted this time, because it'll be live, which will be exciting. I'm wondering if I went too bright with this flash kits. Nah, it's gonna get Nolan Oil and Agarax over it, so it'll be fine. I think this will look good. So yeah, in the 7 or so minutes that we've got left, anyone who's on that wants to ask a question, feel free to ask. Love some good questions. I'm just going to paint this until I see a question pop up, or until the half hour that I have to do this live stream expires. So fire away. Wash my brush off, because I already destroyed one brush because it didn't get washed real well. Part of the reason I don't want to buy an artificial brush, because I destroy brushes. It's just something that I've always done, and I need to stop destroying brushes. Missed a spot on his shin that I saw when I turned the model. You know, I think that bit up the top's actually not needed to be yellow. That'll probably be brass now that I look at it a bit closer. Oh, and if anyone knows why there is so much Chaos Space Marine stuff on eBay really cheap, if they could please let us know, because I can never find cheap Necron stuff. But when my older brother came over from Canada recently, he bought over a Chaos Space Marine Battle Force for me, which is pretty awesome. Then gave me a Iron Warriors Warsmith and a Forge Fiend, which is over on the shelf in sub-assembly at the moment, waiting for me to base coat. But there's so much, so that's why I've started collecting Chaos Space Marines. But there's so much cheap stuff on eBay for Chaos Space Marines for some reason. I have no idea why. So I've got a 1500 point Chaos Space Marine army that currently needs painting, which is actually where these Terminators came from. And I don't know if anyone's noticed yet, I mean, no one's pointed out in the stream yet, but this Chaos Space Marine actually, well, Chaos Terminator I should say, has a noise weapon instead of its Punisher autocannon. At least I think that's what it's called. Which is actually pretty cool. There's no rules for them having noise weapons, but I think it's a cool effect. I think it looks pretty good. I'm actually fairly happy with that way that yellow's come up. I think it'll look good contrasted with black, and then with washes and stuff over the top of it. Fun, fun, fun. So yeah, I mean, there's a Predator, and we've got a Vindicator, because Iron Warriors need a Vindicator, which is going to be pretty cool. Oop, it just knocked an arm off another one of the Terminators. I've actually got 8 of these Terminators, which is going to be pretty cool. I think Now that that's dry, you need another layer of flash kits just to make that colour a bit more solid. And hey, we've got 3 minutes left. So, I suppose in the last couple of minutes that we've got left, I should also mention that with these live streams, I will be trying to put them into a time that suits as many people as possible, which would be about now, because it's 9:30 here in Australia now, but in the US I think it's about midday, depending on which coast you're on, and in the UK it's like 10 o'clock at night. So we'll be trying to go for about 7 o'clock Australian time as the time we'll be doing our live streams, just to try to match up with as many people as possible. That, and I like getting up early. I'm one of the few people that does like getting up early. Yeah, so that's how we'll be trying to do that where possible. Obviously, this stream today didn't give much forewarning on it, but we will try to give as much advice on when we're going to be going live as possible going forward. That's a nice solid colour. Because we don't want anyone to miss out on any of the ridiculous nonsense that we do here. This yellow is almost lemony. I can almost smell the lemons. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright, well, since we don't seem to have any questions, I think I'll just finish this up here, and then we'll be done. So that's our plan for this year. I think it's going to be an exciting year with lots of things happening. I'm planning to get Marshall back on with his Blood Angels at some point, because he wants a rematch, basically. So that's going to be fun. It'll be live. It'll be mad. You can tell us about all the rules that we got wrong in real time. So that's exciting. Awesome. I'm fairly happy with the way that Iron Warrior Terminator is coming up. So, well, that's our time up for now then. We will hopefully see you again next week. It won't be on a Sunday morning, well, Australian time, Saturday, US and UK next week, because I'm working on Sunday. So it'll probably be sometime on Saturday, Australia time, that we'll be going live again. So that'll be exciting. But I will post on our Facebook page as to exactly what time we will be back, and depending on how quickly some more equipment can arrive, it might even be a game of 40k that we'll be going live with. So given that we're doing live streams so much this year, it is even more crucial that you make sure that you are subscribed and that you have smashed the notification bell icon thing, so that when we go live, your phone or computer will go ding to tell you that we're live, so that you can know, and so that you don't miss out on any strategies, tutorials, or battle reports which are entertaining and mad. And we'll see you next time.